Hello friends, welcome to the 2025 Australian of the Year Awards, where we celebrate extraordinary members of our community who remind us of the best of what we can be. People like those on stage with me, previous recipients, whose vision, passion, courage and determination have left a lasting positive mark on our nation. They're here tonight to mark the 65th year of these awards, and soon we'll meet the 36 nominees for 2025 and learn about the amazing things they're doing. But first, past Australian of the Year Awards recipients from all around the land present a national acknowledgement of country.
Wherever you are around Australia.
From the fresh water to the salt water.
The rainforest
to the desert.
Our common bonds.
Our country.
We acknowledge the traditional owners
and custodians of this beautiful land.
We pay our respects
and celebrate their continuing connection
to this land on which we live,
on which we work,
on which we play,
on which we grow.
Our country.
The ever-evolving story of our nation.
We honour ancient wisdom and culture.
Ever adapting and dynamic.
We acknowledge our ancestors
who have gone before us.
And our elders who stand with us today.
Our country.
We acknowledge our past.
And we stand together facing our future.
The Australia we are.
And the Australia we aspire to be.
Tonight, we are on the magnificent lands of the Ngunnawal people. Nanayirribi Kurulili Manangai. Ngunnawawari Darawari. You may leave your footprints on our lands. Yumalundi, welcome, welcome and welcome.
Thank you, Auntie Caroline, for that gracious welcome, and thank you to everyone here in the room for joining us at the National Arboretum in our nation's capital for the 2025 Australian of the Year Awards. And hello also if you're watching and listening at home on ABC TV, ABC iView and ABC News Radio. Auslan interpreting is available on the ABC News channel. It's easy sometimes to be despondent about the state of the world, but tonight's awards will be such an antidote to that as you see the community spirit, tireless work and incredible impact of 36 recipients from all states and territories. These are inspirational Australians who selflessly work to improve the lives of others, not only locally but internationally too. Of these 36 people, 4 will receive national awards. Australia's Local Hero, the Young Australian of the Year, the Senior Australian of the Year, and the 2025 Australian of the Year. We'll also hear music from singer-songwriter and ARIA award winner Dami Im, the ANU Chamber Singers, and our terrific band. I'd like to acknowledge the dignitaries here this evening, including the Governor-General, Her Excellency, the Honourable Sam Mostanese, and of course, the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, who's presenting the awards this evening. Please welcome him to the stage.
Thank you very much, and I begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet this evening, and I pay my respect to elders, past, present and emerging. Friends, how special it is to come together like this on the eve of Australia Day. As we take up our anthem's invitation to rejoice, we take the opportunity to reflect and to celebrate the modern nation we are so privileged to call home, to contemplate all that our nation is and all that it can yet become. A nation that is not an accident or the mere jackpot of good luck. All that Australia has become is the work of generations, sometimes with resilience in the face of adversity, yet facing the tough times with humour, tenacity and big, generous hearts. On Australia Day, we think of every Australian who has put on the uniform and served in our name. Every farmer who has faced a land sometimes short of forgiveness, yet stepped onto it with determination. Everyone who has stood by friend and stranger alike in hard times. Every Australian who has, through their own hard work, perseverance, energy and talent, added to who we are. Among them are the generations of migrants who looked to Australia in all its possibility and all its wonder, and saw themselves making a life here for their family. The story of Australia is not a simple one. There are so many strands that intertwine to create a powerful whole. We are a modern nation on an ancient continent, a vibrant modern society that is proudly the home of the oldest continuous culture on earth, a home nurtured and cared for by Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people for 60,000 years. Ours is a land with a natural heritage unlike anywhere else on the planet, a land of so many contrasting physical environments with so many contrasting beauties, sometimes gentle, sometimes spectacular, sometimes harsh, but always proudly and recognisably ours. We are a young nation, yet an old democracy. We are grateful for what we have, but we do not take what we have for granted, nor do we settle for things as they are, because Australians have always found ways to do things better, to make our country better. It is that spirit that drives us as we look ahead and set about building the future. For what burns in our hearts as brightly as our compassion, fairness and generosity is our ambition, our curiosity and our courage. That's the spirit we see embodied by every Australian of the Year and by every Australian who has ever been nominated. Every nominee who is here tonight is already an extraordinary part of the Australian story. And I do want to thank all the class of 2024 and ask you to join me in doing that. Local hero, David Elliott, OAM. Young Australian of the Year, Emma McKeon, AM. Senior Australian of the Year, Yalmay Yunupingu. And of course, our 2024 Australians of the Year, Professor Georgina Long, AO, and Professor Richard Scolyer, AO. We see in you so much of what is best in the Australian character. And as we celebrate you, we keep seeking out those who show us those qualities and values through the power of their example. That's what we see in all of tonight's nominees. It was my great privilege as Prime Minister to host you at the Lodge this morning with Jodie. And I was once again reminded of that powerful truth, that of all Australia's extraordinary resources, none is greater than our people. And tonight, we celebrate some of our finest. Have a great night.
Thank you, Prime Minister. The first award of the evening is Australia's Local Hero. It celebrates community-minded Australians making a real difference to the lives of others. As you just heard, last year's local hero was Queensland Tourism Champion David Elliott, OAM. David, would you please join me on the stage? David, you were recognised last year for your efforts in helping build a tourism industry in Winton after the discovery of the first dinosaur fossil there in 1999. What was the reaction like in Winton when you got back there as Australia's local hero?
Well, to be honest, I think they just gave me another job to do and I went back to doing what I was doing.
That's right. No one in Winton was going to let you get a big head.
No, that's it. No, and at the end of the day, I'm the same bloke doing the same job. So.
Did it bring much attention to what you're doing there?
Absolutely, yeah. That's one of the best things about this year has brought so much attention to the museum, and it's opened so many doors for the museum too. And so we've had an amazing year because of that.
And you've had a bit of new research at the Dinosaur Museum this year as well.
That's right, yeah. We announced 14 new dinosaurs of Diamantinosaurus matildae in the museum collection that we've collected over the last 20 years that were, the same species of Diamantinosaurus. So we've now got nearly 20 species of dinosaurs in the museum. And we've had an amazing year. We've found two of the most complete diprotodons in Australia at the moment, and they're being prepared at the museum right now. We've discovered a very large meat-eating dinosaur that's probably 2 or 3 times bigger than anything that we found before, or that anything's been found in Australia before, which is still a secret. And we've also found a tiny little fossil of a whole new species that's never been found in Australia before. So there's some of the most exciting things, and we've had a visit from the Prime Minister of Australia, and I got to meet the new Premier.
Well, what more could you possibly hope for? David, thank you so much. Let's now see the nominees for this year's Australia's Local Hero. From the Australian Capital Territory, Vanessa Bratell and Hannah Costello.
We founded Stepping Stone to improve the settlement process for new migrants here in Australia.
We do this through our cafes, which provide training and employment for women who face multiple barriers to employment so that they can make Australia feel like home.
From Tasmania, Karen Franks.
My work with young leaders of Tasmania is about creating a better future for young people with disabilities, creating awareness and changing perceptions and making the world more inclusive.
From the Northern Territory, Mignon McHenry.
My passion is native animals. I care for, rescue and rehabilitate them back into the wild. In 1996, I founded Wildcare to educate the community and train volunteers so that they too could look after animals in their community.
From Victoria, Jasmine Hurst.
I'm passionate about getting girls and women involved in sport, and particularly soccer. Historically, there were so many barriers for girls to get involved. We've started to break those down, but I want us to continue smashing them and give girls and women an opportunity to excel on and off the field.
From New South Wales, Martha Jabor, OAM.
The most important mission with my work with the Homicide Victims Support Group is to make sure that every family member of a homicide victim has the opportunity to get support, counselling and advocacy.
From South Australia, Sobia and Irfan Hashmi.
We both are pharmacists, and we came to Australia back in 2003 and realised that there was a lot of rural South Australian towns that didn't have pharmacy services. So we end up opening pharmacies in those towns.
And that's why we really encourage our young health professionals to come and serve the regional communities and enjoy a good life.
From Queensland, Claire Smith.
Wildlife Rescue Sunshine Coast was set up for 3 key reasons: to rescue, rehabilitate and release our native wildlife. But now we're looking at the environment, and we want to make sure that habitat loss is definitely on the Australian agenda.
From Western Australia, Dr. Jacinta Vu.
I'm an oral medicine specialist, and I'm a director of Healing Smiles, a not-for-profit charity that provides pro bono dental treatment for women survivors of family and domestic violence. A smile can show confidence, dignity and self-worth.
What an absolutely fantastic group of people. Congratulations to all of them. Prime Minister, would you do the honours, please?
Thanks, Leigh. Australia's local heroes for 2025 are Vanessa Bratell and Hannah Costello.
Vanessa Bratell and Hannah Costello created Cafe Stepping Stone to empower the most vulnerable in their community. The cafe operates as a social enterprise, employing women from mostly migrant and refugee backgrounds, offering them a chance at a new life as they settle in Australia. Congratulations to the 2025 Australia's Local Heroes, Vanessa Britell and Hannah Costello.
We opened Stepping Stone in Canberra in 2020, which probably was a little bit of a silly thing to do, going through a pandemic.
We just started small with only Hannah, myself and one other staff member and my mum volunteering, and then slowly but surely we grew.
I came here as a refugee. You start from zero. You don't have anything. I wanted to get a job, but it wasn't easy for me because I couldn't speak English well. Stepping Stone has changed my life completely.
Cafe Stepping Stone is a work integration social enterprise that employs migrant and refugee women from culturally and linguistically diverse backgrounds who face multiple barriers to employment. Having a job and having a workplace is a really important part of their settlement process, and for them to start feeling like Australia is their home.
So I think it's about 70% of our staff were refugees arriving in Australia. And over the 4 years, we've now employed over 50 women, which we feel pretty proud of.
My job is cooking. I chef. I learn potato masala and how to make the pie, mushroom pie. Yes. Customer tell me my food is very good.
When Nan first came to work with us, she came to us never working in a kitchen to now running the Strathnairn kitchen.
Having her on the team has enabled us to be able to open our second site at Dixon.
I'm from Afghanistan. First, when I came here, I actually struggled a lot because I was 16, I was a teenager girl. I got a job in 2 different restaurants, and unfortunately, the person who I was working for wasn't treating me nicely, so I just stopped working there. And then a friend of mine introduced me to Stepping Stone. The first thing that I learned working for Stepping Stone was it's okay to make mistakes.
I think the biggest change that we see is their self-confidence. I like to think we're trying to encourage people to bring out their identities and celebrate how unique they are.
We have like a special that we make every week, and we like kind of get ideas from every culture. The food is amazing from every culture, and you're like, wow.
What we really try to aim to do is to create an environment where women feel welcome to learn. We do this through training in-house with skills like barista in the kitchen, but also externally to that we have a cohort of volunteers that come in and give English classes. We've been able to give financial literacy classes.
Sometimes they come to teach us how we can save money. Now I can buy my own car. We save money and we achieve our dreams.
Food and the coffee are great, but also the atmosphere, very welcoming place.
It's actually my favorite part of my job, to greet people and talk to them. It's really, really nice.
We share everything, not about job, but even our real life. Here is where I feel safe. I feel at home.
It has really been the women and the people that we've worked with through Stepping Stone that have been the true inspiration. We're proving that social enterprise is a really effective way to create impact, and that you don't have to have a business and a charity, that you can bring them both together. Hopefully, we can inspire some more in Canberra, in Australia, in the whole world.
Wow, thank you all so much. It's a very big privilege to be standing up here and receiving this award. We would like to give our congratulations to all of the other nominees that are here with us tonight. All of your work is beyond inspiring. It's also an absolute honour to be here receiving this award in our beloved hometown, the land of the Ngunnawal people. It always was and it always will be Aboriginal land, and we are so proud to live in a country with the longest continuing living culture. Thank you.
Growing up in Australia, and thanks to our families, we were both afforded many privileges. We are so lucky to have had quality education, security, and a safety net which allowed us to explore and try new things. In recognising our privilege, we felt compelled to use our skills and experience to help those who hadn't had the same opportunities. It's cheesy, but at 21, I was inspired by the quote, "Be the change you want to see in the world." And this was the driving force to start our work integration social enterprise, Stepping Stone.
The World Economic Forum, United Nations, and the European Union all agree that the future of business is social enterprise. By putting people and planet first and using profit as a means to achieve it, social enterprise is the most effective way to improve society. We all have responsibility to create change.
We employ and train cowed women from migrant and refugee backgrounds, for whom the workforce participation rate is less than 50%, as they face multiple barriers to employment. We help women from war-affected areas who have experienced unspeakable trauma and loss, and who arrive in Australia full of hope for a fresh start, only to face new challenges. Creating a home in Australia is not always easy. Finding economic security, community, support, and a sense of belonging is hard, and often women can become very isolated and vulnerable. My own grandmother experienced this, and I wanted to minimise this for others.
Through cafes, Stepping Stone provides employment, training and community. Connecting through food, women can share their knowledge and culture, enriching our society through diversity. It's about providing opportunities, stability and hope to people who, just like us, just want a chance to make something of their lives. Everybody deserves a fair chance to thrive, feel safe and have access to meaningful work and be part of a community.
In 4 years, we've employed over 60 women from migrant and refugee backgrounds. Collectively, they've earned almost $2 million in wages, and for most, this is their first job. After working with us, they've increased financial security, but also confidence, skills, the ability to speak English and make connections out of the home. They now have the autonomy over their path forward.
Australia, when we lift others up, everybody benefits. As a consumer, every dollar you spend is an investment in the world that you want. Choose social enterprise. You have the power to create change. Stepping Stone is only what it is with the support of so many people, the incredible women that we work with, our volunteers, the ACT government, and all of our customers.
We dream of a society where diversity is celebrated, where all people are empowered and able to live the lives that they choose. The work we're doing is far from over, and we'll continue to create a stepping stone for others who need it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vanessa and Hannah. Well done. Congratulations. Before our next award, you may have noticed on the stage a Coolaman and a set of clapsticks. Each recipient tonight receives, as well as their award, a set of these handcrafted items produced by Ngunnawal knowledge holder Richie Allen. The Coolaman's traditionally for carrying goods, and clapsticks are musical instruments used to create sounds that connect to spirits. These items are gifted to signify a connection between all Australians, the Ngunnawal people and the natural world. Our next category is Young Australian of the Year. It highlights the achievements of Australians aged 16 to 30. Nothing will give you more faith that the future's in solid hands than taking a look at this group of recipients. Before we hear more about them, please welcome back our 2024 Young Australian of the Year, legendary athlete Emma McKeon AM. You are Australia's most decorated Olympian. You've always been a big advocate for encouraging younger people to follow their dreams and pursue their passions. What kind of platform did you have this year as the recipient of this award to allow you to do that?
Oh, well, it's been a very busy year last year, but I mean, I'm so grateful for all the opportunities that sport's given me and all the results that I've been able to achieve and everyone that's helped me get there. But I think I want to use what I've done to inspire people to go after their goals and dreams, because there's nothing more rewarding than working for what you want and really putting in the effort. So I want to that's always what I've wanted to do, is just inspire and encourage people to go after what they want.
Plus a chance, I think, to share a message that resilience, it's not always just about winning. You actually got to deal with setbacks and failures and all those kind of things too, that you're in a good position to share from your own experience. Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down.
Yeah, definitely. I know from experience you lose more than you win, and the times that I've not gotten what I wanted has shaped me more than the times that I've won. And failure's all part of it, and sometimes that does discourage you, but I think if you can learn from it and look at how you can improve next time, it can only take you forward.
Well, thank you not just for inspiring young Australians, but all Australians. Now, here are the nominees for the 2025 Young Australian of the Year. From Western Australia, Jack Anderson.
My ambition is to provide tens of thousands of marginalised young Australians with free access to the education resources they need to succeed in school.
From the Australian Capital Territory, Daniel Bartholomaeus.
So my absolute dream is to be able to use my lived experience to showcase people with a disability and to help people through mental health challenges and be able to show what they can do, not what they can't do.
From South Australia, Amber Brock-Fable.
I started the South Australian Youth Forum when I was 17 to create a collective voice for young people in the process of decision making, whilst also creating a community for young people to connect and meet where every voice is equal and valued.
From the Northern Territory, Nilesh Delushan.
Kineshake and Road Track are two not-for-profit that brings young people together to celebrate the cultural and professional diversity we have in the Northern Territory and inspires the next generation of young leaders to take action and make a difference in their respective communities.
From Victoria, Aishwarya Kansekar.
My mission is to bridge the technological divide that is plaguing Australia and the world, to leverage AI and technology to create human-centered innovations and community building through using the power of technology.
From New South Wales, Madison O'Grady-Lee.
I want to ensure that all young people with a lived experience of mental health have their voices heard and respected in interventions, policies and research in the youth mental health space.
From Tasmania, Ariane Titmus OAM.
I want to remind people that I am just like them. I just had a big dream and I worked really hard, and I want to inspire people to believe that they can achieve what they dream to do just as I did.
From Queensland, Dr. Katrina Wruck.
I'd like to shatter the existing stereotypes for what academics can be in universities, and I'd like to assist Indigenous communities to eliminate rheumatic heart disease by providing laundry facilities on country.
So superb. Prime Minister, would you please announce the 2025 Young Australian of the Year?
The 2025 Young Australian of the Year is Dr. Katrina Wruck.
Dr. Katrina Wruck is transforming lives with her groundbreaking research focused on supporting remote Indigenous communities. She's developed innovative ways of breaking down harmful chemicals, making water cleaner and safer, a discovery with the potential to combat global contamination. A true trailblazer, Katrina also inspires the next generation to embrace the world of STEM. Congratulations to the 2025 Young Australian of the Year, Dr. Katrina Wruck.
My culture plays a very important role in what I do. Everything I do, I try and make it as green as possible. So that's minimising chemical reagents, trying to use reusable materials and create processes that are green intentionally, instead of just doing it the way everyone else has done it.
So my discovery came about during my PhD research.
I figured out a low-temperature way to turn mining byproducts into the main ingredient in laundry detergent.
To understand Katrina's discovery, you really need to think about the washing powders that we have at the moment. So when washing powders work, they come in and they interact with the dirt and grime in our clothes and they encapsulate it and they take that dirt and grime away into our wastewater. What Katrina's discovered is that she can treat minerals to form a porous material where a chemical reaction can occur, basically breaking it all down completely. So it's much more eco-friendly because you don't have anything that's going into wastewater. It's something that you can use over and over and over again. And even when it's coming to its end of life, you can actually regenerate it.
So one of the things that I hope that my company will be able to assist the community with is combating rheumatic heart disease, which is caused by a bacteria, strep.
Strep is highly contagious, and one of the ways you can prevent strep is by having access to laundry facilities. In Australia, rheumatic heart disease affects predominantly Indigenous people in remote communities.
A lot of remote communities don't have access to laundry facilities. Because of the remoteness, the cost of living is actually a lot higher. Laundry detergent is prohibitively expensive.
I thought of this idea for a business that I could make a reusable laundry system, the first of its kind in Australia, that
reduces the reliance on shipping out detergents.
I think that one of the things about Katrina is that she's able to see not just the scientific value in it, but she can see the value to society. And to be able to have that wide view is something that doesn't come together very often.
When I speak to young people, our future scientists, I really try to nail home that you can be anyone and be a scientist.
As an ambassador at Deadly Science, Katrina does a lot of really great things for our organisation. She often volunteers her time to talk to school kids in remote communities. She does Deadly Learner sessions with our kids. She does in-person workshops.
These students already are scientists. Their traditional knowledge informs their practice. It's really, really, really special to be able to bring my passion for science and chemistry in with my connection to country.
I wish that I had people like Katrina when I was younger, because those are the people that inspire the next generation. She's going to give us more scientists. She's going to give us more deadly young people doing great things because she's done it and she's created a path for them.
The world really is her oyster at the moment. She's got a scientific brain, and so she's got a great career in research, but she's also got this entrepreneurial streak. She could go in many different directions.
I'm really, really looking forward to the future. I'm optimistic and very excited to bring this to the next level.
Wow. I actually hadn't seen that footage, so that's amazing. Congratulations to all of the nominees here. But firstly, I really want to acknowledge and pay my deep respect to this land that has been cared for by the Ngunnawal people from the beginning of living memory and will be cared for until the end of time. On my mother's side, I have connection to ancient Australia through the Wagadaga tribe of the Mabugyalag and Gomulgal peoples of Marbiag Island in the Torres Straits. I acknowledge my immigrant and Torres Strait Islander heritages as both integral parts of my identity. A long time ago, in the Northern Hemisphere, humanity organised itself through empires, ruled by emperors and empresses. Then came kingdoms, governed by kings and occasionally queens. But here, in pre-colonial Australia, we had country, known by 250 unique, self-determining nations. These societies were guided by chosen, initiated elders, custodians of deep knowledge passed through thousands of generations. That knowledge and sovereignty were disrupted by the forces of colonisation, and today we still exist under the structures of the British Empire. Tomorrow, January 26th, is known by many names: Australia Day, Invasion Day, Survival Day. To some, it is a day of celebration, a public holiday. To others, it is a stark reminder of the violent dispossession, a legacy that continues to this day. I stand here as a neurodivergent black woman, a golden trifecta that by all accounts wasn't supposed to succeed. Early in my journey, I worked tirelessly to prove others wrong. But along the way, I realised I wasn't doing it for them. I was doing it for myself, for my family, and for the communities I represent. Rooted in my deep connection to country, my work as a lecturer and researcher in green chemistry and materials science at the Queensland University of Technology is driven by a commitment to addressing urgent global challenges, championing environmental sustainability and pioneering solutions to combat harmful contaminants. This mission led me to establish my startup, Nuki-Coola Green Labs. Nuki-Coola means waterstone in Kalalagoya, Torres Strait language. And we are pioneering the world's first reusable laundry system to combat rheumatic heart disease. As you heard, a condition that almost exclusively affects Indigenous Australians. Representation matters. When kids, especially Indigenous kids, see someone like me in this position, it tells them that they belong, that their dreams are valid, and their voices are powerful. None of this would have been possible without the unwavering support of my husband, Nathan, he's right there, who has been my rock through every high and every low, and my friends, family, and supporters who have stood by me with love and encouragement. Your belief in me has carried me through the hardest moments and inspired me to reach higher. This award is not just for me, it's for the young people daring to dream big, and the communities fighting for justice, and the elders who continue to keep the fire burning. Thank you for this honour. I carry it forward with pride, knowing there is still so much work to do. Together, we can build a future where culture, science, and equity walk hand in hand. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Katrina Wruck, Young Australian of the Year. Perhaps you're watching this tonight and thinking, well, I know somebody who deserves this kind of recognition. Whether they're leaders in your community, inspirational role models, volunteers, or people you work with, you can nominate them for the 2026 Australian of the Year Awards by heading to australianoftheyear.org.au. Speaking of brilliant Australians, we're honoured to have with us tonight one of Australia's most beloved singer-songwriters, Dami Im. Dami burst onto the national stage as the winner of the X Factor Australia in 2013, and soon after she earned global acclaim representing Australia at the Eurovision Song Contest. Tonight, Dami is performing Advance Australia Fair with the ANU Chamber Singers. Please stand for the National Anthem.
Australians, oh let us rejoice, for we are one and free, with golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is girt by sea, our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains then let us sing, advance Australia fair. Beneath our radiant Southern Cross, we'll toil with hearts and hands to make this commonwealth of ours renowned of all the lands. For those who've come across the seas, we've boundless land.
Thank you, Dami. Please take your seats. We'll be hearing more from Dami later in the show. Our next award celebrates the achievements of Australians over the age of 65. These are citizens who've often worked tirelessly for decades with little personal reward other than the knowledge they're helping others. Before we go to this year's nominees, please welcome to the stage Senior Australian of the Year for 2024, Yalmay Yunupingu. Lovely to see you again. You were awarded last year for touching many lives in Northeast Arnhem Land and all around the country with your work teaching language and culture to young people. What have been the highlights of the year since you were named Australia's Senior Australian of the Year?
There's many highlights that I can think of and remember. A lot of interesting places that I've been to. I've been talking to a lot of people, a lot of interesting people that I'm very proud and honoured to be named as Senior Australia of the Year.
Did it draw lots of attention to your work to people who weren't aware of it previously?
It did. Some people do understand what I've been awarded for, because the work that I've done, 45 years, is tremendously long year of my working days. It's very challenging sometimes for some people, and even some people don't understand. But coming from a very remote community, people sometimes do understand that a lot of people have been talking to me about that they are very pleased and honoured as well.
And because you are very accomplished at what you do. You've been a wonderful Senior Australian of the Year, Yalmay. Thank you very much. Now here are the 8 nominees for Senior Australian of the Year for 2025.
From Tasmania, Associate Professor Penelope Blomfield.
I'm passionate about ensuring that women who suffer from gynecological cancer get prompt access to best treatment. I also think that we should be tailoring health services to those individuals who are most vulnerable.
From Victoria, Dr. Peter Bruckner, OAM.
Type 2 diabetes is the biggest single health problem we have in this country, with nearly 2 million people suffering from the disease. It's time to change the conversation about how we treat the disease towards diet. And my aim is to give hope to those with type 2 diabetes.
From the Northern Territory, Michael Foley, OAM.
Seniors of excellence are everywhere, right throughout this great country. I'm passionate about finding these people and saying thank you for the wonderful things that you do in your community.
From Queensland, Dr. Bronwyn Herbert.
My goal is to help homeless people who are living in homeless situations with their children to obtain permanent housing and live secure, happy lives.
From South Australia, Charles Jackson, OAM.
I've worked in Indigenous affairs now for well over 50 years. I would like to advocate on behalf of the most vulnerable members of our communities, and to be able to then facilitate those concerns at the local level, the state, and also the national level as well.
From New South Wales, Dr. Karl Kruszelnicki, AM.
My goal is to make the world a better place, specifically to liberate people from what's holding them back, and the tool I use to do this is science.
From Western Australia, Brother Thomas Oliver Pickett, AM.
At Wheelchairs for Kids,
We listen, we care and we give to children with disabilities around the world so they can get off the ground, have dignity as well as mobility.
From the Australian Capital Territory, Marilyn Ralston and Peter Ralston OAM.
So the essence of Achilles Canberra is to bring together volunteers with people with a disability so they can enjoy the social and health benefits of walking and running.
We are encouraging people to set their own goals to make a difference by putting one foot in front of the other.
All absolutely incredible. Prime Minister, would you please announce the 2025 Senior Australian of the Year?
Thanks, Leigh. The 2025 Senior Australian of the Year is Brother Thomas Oliver Pickett, AM.
Brother Thomas Oliver Pickett AM has dedicated his life to giving disadvantaged children around the world access to an adjustable wheelchair, allowing them to live a life of mobility, freedom and dignity. He's helped by a team of volunteers through his organisation Wheelchairs for Kids. For decades, Brother Ollie's life-changing community service has been setting off ripple effects of kindness and generosity. Congratulations to the 2025 Senior Australian of the Year, Brother Thomas Oliver Pickett AM.
Dear friend, thank you for the wheelchair and the teddy bear that you gave to me. You have made my heart rejoice again. I can move around on my own again. I can now go to school. I know now that someone out there is interested in the life I carry, regardless of who or where I am. Thank you, yours Mercy. But we get back lots of letters like that. We get back so many photos. It's a wonderful thing for all us volunteers to know that we're here doing something worthwhile for the world community. Wheelchairs for Kids is a charity organisation who makes wheelchairs and we distribute them free of charge to children around the world who need them, who can't walk, helping them to get a new life by getting off the ground and having dignity as well as mobility.
Oh, Ollie, he's an inspiration.
I don't think there's another human being on the planet like he. It's incredible the job that he does.
I've done a lot of volunteering over my life, but this organisation that Ollie and his team have put together is just exceptional. It's so rewarding. I think you always receive more back than you give.
So all the people who make the wheelchairs in here are all volunteers. We've got 235 retired people here through the week, and we do 30 wheelchairs a day, all done on World Health guidelines, made to grow with the child from the age of about 4 or 5 to the age of 16.
This chair is the only three-wheeled, rough terrain, fully adjustable children's wheelchair in the world. The children we help, they live in areas where an ordinary wheelchair probably fall apart in weeks, and we give them something which is very robust.
Well, so far we're over 61,000 wheelchairs to gone to 81 countries around the world. And there's certainly a lot of kids in the world need a wheelchair. Our occupational therapists and physiotherapists go to these places around the world and show people how to fit the kids up properly to the chair. Sometimes it can take up to 5-6 hours to fit a little kid up to a chair, depending on the disability they've got.
There was a child not so long ago that we saw who had been lying on the floor for 15 years. We sent a wheelchair to him and he was outside and it was beautiful.
Joyous moment. You see the little kids, first time they're out there in the open playing with the other kids.
Complete turnaround for the family and the child.
It probably has a ripple effect through the community, I think.
The look on their faces when they get a wheelchair, they get a rug, a toy, doesn't matter how much money you got, would never buy the thrill of seeing it.
You see in the videos they'll be hugging the toy. Yeah, get emotional now.
It's just such an amazing feeling to be able to contribute something and feel part of a community.
Everyone that works here, they want to do the best for the children.
We get lots of videos back and pictures, and you see a little kid sitting comfortably in a chair, and they get a smile on their face and they're waving, you know, in the picture. Well, it makes you feel like that's your life is worth living, you know, that you're doing something for someone else. It's very gratifying.
That's the kind of magic that Ollie has put in here. He is remarkable. He epitomises the generosity of Wheelchairs for Kids. He is really Mr. Wheelchairs.
Yeah, thank you very much, everyone. It's just overwhelming. I feel very humbled to receive this very prestigious award of Senior Australian of the Year. And I dedicate this award to all our wonderful volunteers, both inside and outside the factory. First of all, I must congratulate all those talented people in my section here, of the senior section, and all the other sections, on the wonderful things that you do that go rewarded to help other people. And I really admire that. And you're trying to make the world a better place. As the co-founder of Wheelchairs for Kids Australia, nothing can be achieved unless you have good people around you. This is why our project has become a large Australian charity. Everyone who makes the wheelchairs is a volunteer. And our volunteer workforce come from all various careers, far too many to mention. Very importantly, we have 4 occupational therapists and 2 physiotherapists amongst our volunteer group. And they've been all over the world training carers and parents how to fit the children correctly to the wheelchair. And that means as far away as Mongolia, through the African countries, up through the Pacific Islands, into Cambodia, Vietnam and Laos and other places thereabouts. We have 240 retired volunteers throughout the week in our factory, and we average 50 volunteers per day. As well as all those who work voluntarily in the factory, we have hundreds of ladies who crochet and knit rugs and soft toys. They come from nursing homes, they come from church groups, they come from individuals, and even come as far away as Victoria, New South Wales, places in Western Australia as well, and we're very grateful. We send a knee rug and 2 soft toys with every wheelchair and a large rug for the Hamp family. We have a wonderful group of sewers also who sew all the covers for the hips and trunk supports, as well as the headrests and the backrests. Our wheelchair is made following the guidelines of the World Health Organisation. I've asked anyone to make a wheelchair for children with a disability to follow. We're the only organisation in the world to take up this challenge. And as the children grow, so does the wheelchair. So from the age of 4 to the age of 16 years, the children with disabilities can use the wheelchair. There are 11 various movements in the chair, which makes this possible. And there's no one else in the world making this unique wheelchair. I thank the Rotary Club of Scarborough for owning the project, the Wheelchairs for Kids. And also I'd like to thank the Christian Brothers for their wonderful support from the beginning of this project. And also I want to thank all our sponsors, our suppliers, our donors, and everyone else who's helped in the way of the wheelchairs. Thanks to all the humanitarian agencies, both here in Australia and overseas, for taking up the freight and customs cost to get the wheelchairs to their destination. Our wheelchairs cost $275 for our volunteers to make, and for this sum of money, a child with a disability receives a new life by getting off the ground, having dignity, as well as mobility. They can now go to village school and have an education. They mix with their friends and feel included. Any donations, no matter how big or how small, will enable us to make more wheelchairs. And in our strategic plan, we hope to make 6,000 wheelchairs a year as from the end of 2026. We have donated now over 61,000 wheelchairs to 81 countries around the world, including Northern Australia. Please help us to make more wheelchairs so many more children with disabilities receive a wheelchair and have a much better life. You can go to our website, all the W's, wheelchairsforkids.org, if you would like to donate. I'll just finish with this. We get back hundreds of reviews from the various countries around the world we send them to. And just picked out this one. A little girl named Mercy, she's from Zambia. She said, "Dear friend, thank you for the wheelchair and the teddy bear and the beautiful rug that you gave me. You have made my heart rejoice again. I can now go to school and be with my friends." Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. What a truly astonishing and extraordinary legacy, Brother Ollie. Well done. We're almost at our final award for the night, where we'll find out who is this year's Australian of the Year. The very first in 1960 was Sir Macfarlane Burnet, who was a world leader in the study of the flu virus. He also won a Nobel Prize for his research. For now, though, please welcome back to the stage Dami Im, singing a song that speaks to the spirit of all those who've been recognised at these awards during the past 65 years, all of whom will feature on the screens during this song as Dami sings it. I'm sure it's one that's very familiar to all of you. Here is Dami Im with Unstoppable.
To fool this town, I'll do it till the sun goes down, no, through the night time. Oh yeah, I'll tell you what you wanna hear. Leave my sunglasses on while I shed a tear. It's never the right time. Oh yeah, I put my armor on, show you how strong I am. I put my armor on, I'll show you that I am. I'm unstoppable. I'm a Porsche with no brakes. I'm invincible. I win every single game. I'm so powerful. I don't need batteries to play. I'm so confident. I'm unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Break down, only alone I will cry out loud. You'll never see what's hiding out deep down. Yeah, I know. I've heard that to let your feelings show is the only way to make friendships grow, but I'm too afraid now. Oh yeah, I put my armor on, show you how strong I am. I put my armor on, I'll show you that I am. I'm unstoppable. I'm a Porsche with no brakes. I'm invincible. I win every single game. I'm so powerful. I don't need batteries to play. I'm so confident. Oh, I'm unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. I put my armor on, show you how strong I am. I put my armor on, I'll show you that I am. I'm unstoppable. I'm a Porsche with no brakes. I'm invincible. I win every single game. I'm so powerful. Don't need batteries to play. I'm so confident. I'm unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. I'm unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. I'm unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. You're unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today.
That was absolutely brilliant. We're getting close to finding out the 2025 Australian of the Year. As I've already said, we're so delighted tonight to have many of the past recipients in the room with us, including, of course, the 2024 Australians of the Year. Please welcome to the stage Professors Georgina Long AO and Richard Scolyer AO.
Something so strong. Something so strong. Something so strong. Something so strong.
So wonderful to see you both here. You were awarded both last year for your incredible pioneering work in melanoma research and treatment and the countless lives that have been saved. And in addition to that, as all Australians know, Richard was diagnosed in 2023 with brain cancer, and Georgina, you've designed a pioneering experimental treatment to see what would happen if your melanoma knowledge was applied to Richard's brain cancer. Professor Long, can you tell us what have you learned in the past year?
Well, so much has happened in the past year, and it's such an honour to actually apply and see the power of science, creativity, but with hope at the core. And we've heard this tonight with every story and every nominee. It's hope that is driving the passion, hope to make a difference. And it really can make a difference. I see it every day in the melanoma patients that I talk to when they consent to clinical trials and experimental treatments, just as Richard did. And they are holding on to the hope that the science can make a difference to them, but not only to them, those who come after them. And really importantly, and I think everyone would agree, the importance of collaboration across disciplines. So what can happen in one discipline, one cancer, a breakthrough can make a real difference to others. And I'm going to finish with a bicycle analogy. I want to acknowledge the peloton of people that make things happen, particularly women in this case, who made the science happen and supported the ideas.
Richard, I'm sure you get the sense when you're out and about how invested Australians are in knowing how you're going. Can you give us an update? How are you?
I'm doing very well, thanks, Leigh. I feel blessed that I'm still here, to be perfectly honest, and many people have thanked me on this journey, but I guess whether it's luck or related to treatment, we don't know that. I'm enjoying life, enjoying still being able to contribute, and so far there's been no evidence of recurrence of my tumour on MRI scanning. It's been a up and down journey at different times. I've been very touched by the many Australians who've reached out to me and sent me well wishes, and that's I'm shocked and blown away by the feelings of other Australians, many of whom I've never met before. I'm also proud, as Georgina mentioned, from the science that's been generated from my brain tumour, and I hope that this science can ultimately end up in producing treatments that improve outlook for brain cancer patients.
To pull it back to melanoma, which was what you were recognised for last year, you both in your speech last year talked about the fact that we could actually have a zero fatality rate from melanoma if we got really serious about prevention and sun safety. How receptive did you find people to that message this year?
I think we've been blown away, to use Richard's term again, at how people are very receptive, putting skin cancer and melanoma. Melanoma's Australia's national cancer in the spotlight, but we are lagging. Leigh, we need to keep prevention in the spotlight.
Prevention is better than cure, so absolutely what Georgina said, we've got to push that message through.
And shade needs to get on the agenda. Plant some trees, beautiful shade in schools, and we have to put an immediate stop to the dangerous social media out there that is glamorising tanning and glamorising sunburn tan lines. It ain't fun getting skin cancer, and it can be deadly.
The last thing you said when you were on stage last year, Georgina, was you addressed Richard. You said there'd be nothing that you'd hope for more than you'd both be here this year to pass on the baton. You've done it. Well done.
Thank you.
And now here are the nominees for the 2025 Australian of the Year. From South Australia, Professor Leah Bromfield.
It's intolerable that 6 in 10 Australians experience abuse or neglect. It's even more intolerable that our systems for protecting children are ineffective. I want to transform the way that we respond to abuse and neglect to make systems that are helpful, that are effective, and that we can all be proud of.
From Victoria, Neil Danaher, AO.
Our mission is a world without MND. We are a community-focused foundation that raises funds through fun events to enable medical researchers to find treatments for this horrible disease. We want to give those diagnosed hope.
From Tasmania, Sam Elsom.
My mission is to tackle climate change by focusing on one of the most important greenhouse gases, methane. Through our work, we can reduce livestock methane emissions and be the enabling force behind sustainable agriculture.
From the Australian Capital Territory, Megan Gilmore.
My national and global mission is to see children who can't physically attend school join their own school communities using 21st century technologies to learn alongside their peers, with their teachers, and be connected to their school communities.
From Western Australia, Diane and Ian Haggerty.
With natural intelligence farming, we're celebrating the wonders of biodiversity and creating living foods and fibre.
And shining a light on microbiomes in the soil and the link to human and planetary health.
It's about respecting our natural systems and its wonderful ability to nurture our people and our planet.
From New South Wales, Kath Koschel.
The health and welfare of society is of significant concern as we see increasing rates of suicide, domestic violence, and a lot of unnecessary suffering that occurs around us. I believe that kindness is the perfect antidote for all of that unnecessary suffering. So I set up Kindness Factory with a mission of simply making the world a little bit more just and kind.
From the Northern Territory, Grant Nulmia Nudhiri Bala.
I'm taking my music and my culture around the world, and I try to put all the traditional song into my Western music. I'm doing for my community and my family.
From Queensland, Jeffrey Smith.
I want every young autistic Australian to know that they belong in the workplace and that their skills and personalities are valued and they can contribute to a prosperous Australian economy.
I'd now invite the Prime Minister to announce the 2025 Australian of the Year.
Thanks very much, Leigh. Well, what an extraordinary group of Australians. I am delighted to announce that the 2025 Australian of the Year is Neil Danaher, AO.
Former AFL player and coach Neil Danaher, AO, has been advocating for a cure for motor neurone disease, or MND, since his diagnosis more than a decade ago. Neil co-founded Fight MND, a charity that's raised and invested over $115 million into medical research. Despite battling the effects of the disease, Neil remains a tireless campaigner for a cure. Congratulations to the 2025 Australian of the Year, Neil Danaher, AO.
Essendon today kicked 3 goals, gives a hand pass straight across there to Neil Danaher. He drives it down towards a full forward position and could be a goal.
Neil was a very tough player. He was supremely talented. He was revered by his players.
Well, they called him the Reverend for a reason.
I see our young team as winners.
Big-hearted, selfless, most resilient person I've ever met.
As a coach, he came to the Demons when we were bottom of the ladder. He was a hard taskmaster. He knew exactly what he wanted, and he took us from the bottom right up to prelim final.
I don't think our family was surprised when he took this perspective. When he was diagnosed with MND, he wanted to find a way to fight back. Given his personality, I wasn't shocked at all that he'd taken this on.
The disease will get me, I know,
But why I do it is that I can't accept that right now there's no treatment or cure. And that drives me to go, well, what can I do?
To think that there was nothing out there for Neil was really discouraging, really disheartening. But Neil doesn't let you stay in that state for too long. As he did as the coach, he rallied the troops and we all got on board the Fight M&D Army.
The Big Freeze is our way to fight back, but to have a lot of fun while we're doing it. We got celebrities to come together to dress up, to dunk themselves in 2 tons of ice at the MCG and see if we could raise a bit of money.
It's become one of those big things now in that not only the footy calendar, but on a broader scale, the national calendar, where it's becoming bigger and better and everyone wants to be a part of it.
Melbourne winter now has become synonymous, hasn't it really, with the Neil Danaher MND Big Freeze beanie?
With Big Freeze 1, we wanted to raise $250,000 and we walked away from that campaign raising $2 million. Now, 10 years on, we've invested over $115 million. We've seen 34 drug development projects. We've seen 15 clinical trials come to Australia so that over 600 Australians can participate in research.
The importance of the foundation just can't be understated. Obviously, the number one thing is to find the cure, but also giving people a sense of community that are suffering from the disease as well. They've got a community that can help and support each other.
Hello everyone. You will notice I have a new toy.
It is a big undertaking to take his fight public. MND is brutal. There's no independence, there's not much dignity associated with an MND journey.
Since my diagnosis, I decided to go public and basically say I need help here. What I learned, and might surprise younger Neil, is being openly vulnerable. Stating I am in trouble, I need help, is not a sign of weakness. It is the opposite. It can give you strength through the support of others.
I'm incredibly proud of Neil. He's very passionate about Fight MND. He's worked incredibly hard and I know he'll continue for as long as he possibly can, even though life is getting harder and harder for him.
What motivated me was simple. Having no hope is devastating. We wanted to change that narrative. We want to give those diagnosed hope.
There's a saying, when all's said and done, more is said than done. And the mark of a person is not what they say, it's what they do.
Prime Minister's presenting the award to Neil Danaher's wife, Jan, who's assisting Neil to receive it. All Australian of the Year nominees prepare a speech just in case they receive the National Award. Neil recorded an audio version of his acceptance remarks, which we'll now play.
Ladies, gentlemen and special guests, thank you. I sit here tonight deeply honoured to accept the title of Australian of the Year 2025. This recognition isn't just for me. It belongs to the entire M&D community, the families, the carers, the researchers, the volunteers, all those at the Fight M&D Foundation and M&D state associations, and the countless Australians who have joined us in this fight. It also belongs to my family, headed by my wife Jan and our children and their partners, who have been with me every step of the way on this challenging journey. The journey began for me in 2013 when I was diagnosed with motor neurone disease, a beast of a disease. It doesn't discriminate. It robs you of your ability to move, speak, swallow, and eventually breathe. But it did something else too. It lit a fire within me, a determination to fight for those who are currently affected and those who will face it after me. I chose to fight because if I didn't, how could I expect anyone else to? I chose to hope because I believe in the decency and generosity of Australians. I thought, if people truly understood the challenges we face, they'd join the fight with me. And you have. Oh, how you have. So again, I thank you. Together, we have built a movement. Since 2014, we have raised over $115 million for care and medical research, supported clinical trials across the country, and developed new drugs that offer hope. More than that, we have shown people living with MND that they are not alone. Our vision is simple, a world without MND. Some may call it a dream, but I don't believe it's an impossible one. This disease is not incurable. It's simply underfunded and misunderstood. With focus, funding, and unwavering determination, we can change that. So tonight, I ask you to imagine. Imagine unlocking the mysteries of the neurological frontier right here in Australia. Imagine a world where families don't lose their loved ones to this cruel disease. And imagine the power of what we can achieve together when we each take small steps to make a difference. To everyone who has bought a beanie, donated $1, or spread the word, thank you. You are proof that when Australians unite, nothing is impossible. In my lifetime, I hope we find the underlying causes of MND, better treatments, and, ultimately, a cure. But beyond that, I hope to leave a legacy that says this: no matter the odds, no matter the diagnosis, we all have the power to choose to fight, to choose our attitude, to choose to smile, and to choose to do something. Because the mark of a person isn't what they say, it's what they do. Tonight, I'm grateful and honoured to be Australian of the Year. I know that this nomination will help grow awareness for our cause so that together, as Australians, we can continue this fight against the beast and one day achieve our vision, a world without MND. Thank you.
Your 2025 Australian of the Year, Neil Danaher. What an utterly worthy recipient, and it's just such a privilege to be sharing a stage with Neil. Let me invite all our national recipients back to the stage. I'd really love us to give one last round of applause to each of our recipients. Australia's local heroes, Vanessa Britell and Hannah Costello. Young Australian of the Year, Dr. Katrina Wruck. Senior Australian of the Year, Brother Thomas Oliver Pickett AM. And the 2025 Australian of the Year, Neil Danaher AO. Congratulations to all of you and best of luck for your terms in 2025. Can I thank our wonderful band, the ANU Chamber Singers, Dami Im, as well as everyone behind the scenes who helped make these awards happen. It's a big logistical feat. And thank you to you two for watching. Good night.